Okay. Hello there. Good day, everyone. I am Miss Maraneth Malubag, your subject teacher in purposive communication. So we are now on our second topic, which is about communication in multicultural settings. So the first lesson that we had under this topic is all about globalization and communication, right? So as you have read in our second module, hopefully binasa ano. So it is reflected in your module that the world today is more connected than ever. Do you agree with that? I hope that you are fully aware, no? Now, think of the modern technologies and innovation that we have now compare noong 15 years ago, 10 years ago. Eh, ang usong cellphone noon ay yung the buklat, yung the keypad, yung the slide. So, tapos more on texting pa ang pagpapalitan ng message. Walang internet, mahirap ang data, ano. So, wala pang gaano mga ganon, kaya mahirap yung makapag-online. Pero ngayon, look at what we have now. Mapabata, mapamatanda, may kanya-kanya ng gadget. No? So, ganun din yung social media accounts. And that cost para mapadali yung communication natin kahit gaano pa ang distansya na nakapagitna sa mga tao, right? Kaya masabing we live in a world today where we are connected with other people socially, politically, economically, and even environmentally. So, lumaganap na rin lalo yung trade between countries, yung growth of international organizations. So, malaki na rin yung improvement in transport and communication technology. So that only means that these connections are rapidly increasing, and that's why there is a term globalization. However, considering that there are so many races or lahi and ethnic groups sa mundo, may mga nag-uusbungan na rin, syempre, normally na iba't ibang kultura, ano? At nakapaloob sa kultura na yon yung way of communication ng mga tao. Kaya we could say that because of the globalization that is prevalent nowadays, it has great impact on communication. At yun yung na-discuss na doon sa ating first lesson sa topic na to. So, basahin para maintindihan ng mabuti. So, I have posted informational videos na rin naman sa ating Facebook group which you're required to watch para masundan ninyo yung lesson ng mas maayos. Okay? So, enough with the review. Let's now start with our new lesson, which is the lesson 2 under this topic, the registers and varieties of language, specifically the English language. Okay? So as soon as this lesson ends, you, my students, are expected to first classify words according to their register and variety. Second, employ cultural and intercultural awareness and sensitivity in communicating ideas through multimodal text to multicultural audiences using appropriate registers, and adopt awareness of audience and context in presenting ideas. So in order for you to attain these objectives, let's start with the discussion, and I hope that you will all comprehend this lecture. Okay? Alright, so let's first discuss the registers of language. And to start, let me ask you these 3 questions muna. First, can you write an academic paper using a gangster slang? Like, let's say, gumagawa ka ng research paper, and when you are writing the results and discussion part, do you think it is proper or appropriate if you will write like this? For example, the findings of this study is so lit, OMG, I cannot Tama ba yun? So, will you write that way? Of course not, diba? For sure, you will use formal language that is appropriate para sa isang academic paper, right? So, no slangs. Hindi pwede ang slang sa academic paper. Okay? Second, during a consultation with your teacher, do you think it is right if your teacher, na opposite ang gender, sa'yo, will ask you, what kinds of personal changes can we make together to make your stay in this school be your best time ever? Okay, sounds creepy. So, do you think the teacher used appropriate words para sa isang consultation talk between teacher and student? No, obviously. Professionalism within the teacher should be reflected through his or her words. Kapag kausap na lalo na ang students, parents, and the others. Kaya the use of the words personal, yung together, ay no. Okay? Ayan, third, when praying to God, will you talk to Him the way you talk with your friends? Okay, think of the way you speak with your barkada, your friends. Ganun ka rin bang manalangin? Siyempre, hindi dapat. Kung sa kaibigan mo, nagagawa mong gumamit ng slang words, sa mga jargon, nagagawa mong magloko, or anything. Hindi mo pwedeng magawa yun when you are praying. Why? Siyempre, praying is, it's talking with God. Siyempre, Lord God is the Almighty One, kaya marapat lamang na galangin siya when we speak to Him. Kaya, we should use words of praises, yung words of worship and reverence to God. Kung sa kaibigan mo, nakakapag kindat-kindat ka, nakakapag-wink ka, nakakapagtaas ka ng kilay, nakakapag, hey dude, what's up? Yan. You should not do that when you are praying, when you are speaking to God. Okay? And so, this only means that in every situation we encounter, we use language appropriate to the person to whom you are speaking, and syempre considering the context, yung setting doon sa sitwasyon na yun, formal ba, casual ba, or informal ba. So the language you use when talking to your friend is not the same language you would use when meeting someone as important as God, or even to your professors, your parents, etc. And this difference in language formality is called register. Okay. Kaya meron tayong tinatawag at pag-aaralan na registers of language. Okay? Alright, so language registers, or the speech styles, are the level of formality with which we speak, meaning different situations and people call for different registers. Gaya nga ng given examples kanina, it would certainly be inappropriate to use language and vocabulary reserved for a boyfriend or girlfriend when speaking with your friends. Therefore, the appropriate language register depends upon who the audience are, or who do you talk with, and what the topic is, why the communication is needed, the purpose, and where is the location of the communication. In other words, you as a speaker have to consider these W questions, the who, what, why, and where, para ma-identify mo kung anong language register ang dapat mong i-apply when communicating, when you are in a spoken discourse. Okay? Kaya in everything that we do, lalong-lalo na when it comes in communication, discipline is a must. You must control the use of language registers in order to enjoy the success of language in every aspect and situation you encounter all throughout the discourse context. Okay? Yan. On the other hand naman, here, the portrait that you can see in this side is Mr. Martin Drew, okay, who introduced his seminal work, which is called the Five Clocks. Okay, so this so-called the Five Clocks presents typology to describe speech styles where he identifies 5 language registers, namely static or frozen, formal, consultative, casual, and intimate. Okay, so let's talk about those 5 one by one. Ayan. First is the frozen or static register. So this register requires the use of language that rarely or never changes. So at this level, language is literally frozen in time and in form, meaning it does not change. This type of language is often learned and repeated habitually. So, ano ba yung mga examples sa mga forms of language na sinasalita natin ng paulit-ulit at walang binabago? So, this would include prayers para sa mga Roman Catholics out there, parliamentary procedures, what else? The Constitution, biblical verse, of course, di pwedeng baguhin, di pwedeng dagdagan nor bawasan. Okay, what else? The Pledge of Allegiance and so forth. So, ayan, I have here an instance to show you the manner by which a president took an oath in his or her presidency. So, this kind of oath-taking is the same in whatever language. So, in the video, in the short clip that you'd watch, you could observe as you'll watch the short clip na President Duterte didn't add nor reduce any word or phrase sa kanyang pag-take ng oath. So, here's an example of frozen or static register.
May you please raise your right hand for your oath of office and repeat after me.
I,
Please state your name.
Rodrigo Roa Duterte,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
and conscientiously
and conscientiously
fulfill
fulfill
my duties
my duties
as President
as
of the
President
Philippines,
of the Philippines,
preserve
preserve
and defend its
and
Constitution,
defend the Constitution,
execute
execute
its laws,
the laws,
do justice to every man,
do justice to every man,
and consecrate myself
and consecrate myself
to the service of the nation.
to the service of the nation.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Alright, second is the formal register. So this language is used in formal settings, okay, and is one way in nature. So pag sinabing one way lamang yung nangyayaring communication, walang pagpapalitan ng ideas. So the message is from the sender lamang. Yung receiver ay nakikinig lang o kaya ay nag-a-agree or nagdi-disagree silently. Okay? So this style is also known as impersonal. So the speaker is not involving his or her personal feelings. Naghahatid lang siya ng information or facts objectively and without any bias. Okay? And one more thing, this register of language often follows a prescriptive and accepted format. Kaya the speaker uses complete sentences. He or she also avoids slang words, and he or she may also use technical or academic vocabulary. Kaya it is likely that the speaker will use fewer contractions but opt instead for complete words. For example, the words have not. So, hindi dapat ito kino-contract kapag formal language. So, imbes na haven't, dapat siyang buuhin na have not. Okay? Kagaya na rin ng I am. Hindi pwedeng I'm. Or sinasuggest na buuhin ito at hindi contracted. So, kagaya na rin lang ng do not, did not, would not, and the likes. Okay? Yan, so, a common format for this register are speeches, like sermons, mass, rhetorical statements, questions, pronouncements by judges, sana, or the president's State of the Nation address and such. For an example, watch and listen to the example of formal register which I have given in the next slide.
Can we love without getting disappointed? No. And then the next question is, maybe we should stop loving so that we will not be disappointed? And the answer is still no. Why are we always disappointed here on earth? Why do we have to suffer rejection while we are alive? Why are our dreams frustrated? Why do our friends become traitors? Why do our children turn against us after bringing them up so well? Why? The answer is because we are living in this world. And everything in this world is limited. Everything in this world is blemished. Everything in this world is imperfect. And so it is with the way we love.
Okay. Next is the consultative register. So this register is used in professional discourse where one of the speakers is viewed as the expert. Okay, so from the term itself, it is the register used when consulting an expert. Kaya what is present in the communication or in the spoken discourse is the standard form of communications. So the language used is more precise. So the speaker in this type of register engage in mutually accepted structure of communication. So wherein formal and societal expectations accompany the users of this speech. For example, in a patient and doctor exchange. So the patient listens to the doctor's diagnosis and medical advices. No? So another is student and teacher consultation. So when the student talks with his teacher regarding his failing grade. So ayun. Other example are when strangers meet, communications between a superior or a boss and his or her subordinate. Yan. What else? Lawyer and client, lawyer and judge, counselor and client, and such. Okay? And by the way, just like the formal register, the use of jargon is inevitable in this type of discourse. Ano? Ayan, so, watch and listen. Kindly watch and listen to the next video which I have given. So this is a scenario that demonstrates a consultative register.
Can you tell me why you're here today?
I have a terrible headache.
It looks really bad.
Yes.
Is there anything else besides your headache that you want to address here today at the clinic appointment?
No, it's just that, except I am concerned. I just recently changed insurance companies, and I'm not sure this is going to be covered yet.
All right. Was there anything? Because what we can do is while we're talking and I'm doing your history and physical, I will have my office secretary look into the insurance plan that you
Okay.
have.
All right.
So you don't have to worry about
Yeah,
that.
that sounds good.
Okay, sounds great. Is there anything else?
No, this is just really bad.
Okay. So what I'd like to do today is let's take a look at what's causing your headache.
All right.
I will go over history physical,
Okay.
and then we'll do again a physical exam, and then we will look into your insurance policy and make sure that's all
Okay.
taken care of. Does that sound like a good plan for you?
Yeah, that's good.
Perfect. So tell me a little bit more about the head pain that you're having.
Well, it started about 3 days ago, and nothing has helped. It's just laid me flat. I haven't been able to go to work. Nothing's helped. It's all over. It's really bad when I move. So I'm trying not to move too much, and the light is bothering me a lot.
Okay. And unfortunately, I can't dim the lights in this room,
All right.
but so
It's okay.
I'll try to go quickly. And would it be okay if I took some notes?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
All right. So you said this headache started about 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anything that brought it on? Anything unusual that happened maybe 3 days ago?
Not really, no.
Okay. Can you tell me anything that makes it better? Is there
Oh,
anything-
nothing's made it better.
Okay.
I took some Tylenol, I tried
Okay.
Motrin, nothing. I just try not to move too much.
All right. Is there anything that makes it worse?
Yeah,
Like
movement,
movement.
and light,
Okay.
and it's just constant though. There's, it doesn't. It's just constant. It's all over.
Okay. So if you had to rate it on a pain scale, 0 being no pain, 10 being the worst pain you ever
Oh,
had.
it's a 10.
A 10?
I've never had a headache like this.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds really bad. Now, as far as radiation, does it move? You said the pain is all up here in the front of your head.
It's kind of all over.
Okay.
But it also, I've got this shooting pain down my neck, and my neck is very stiff.
Okay.
But it's not. It's the entire head.
Entire head.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as in the timing, you said that started
Yeah.
3 days ago. But
Yeah.
you said is it constant?
Yeah.
or it comes and goes?
It started gradually, but once it got there, it hasn't gone away. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get worse. It's just the same.
Okay. So do you? What I want to get is your perception of what you think is going on.
Oh, I don't know. I can.
Fourth is the casual register. So this is used in informal settings like conversing with friends or engaging in small talks with other people. So the language that is used in this register is characterized by the use of slang, colloquialism, and in some instances ay may gumagamit din sila ng vulgarities like rude words, dirty jokes, and mga ganon. And also, the words that are being used in this kind of communication is general rather than technical. Okay? Yan. So this register may also be considered as a group language then. For example, the what do you call it? The Swardspeak or the gay lingo that is being used by a number of LGBT people. So they have their coined words na sila rin lang ang nakakaintindi. But there are some na kahit hindi member ng group na yun nagiging knowledgeable na rin dun sa words na ginagamit nila. That is because of the presence of the LGBT people sa environment ng mga hindi member. So, nakukuha na rin ng iba yung way of communicating nila. Ayan, so, such register may be used by buddies, teammates, best friends, mga close friends natin, even siblings. Yan, so maaari natin itong magamit through chats, email, face-to-face interaction. Yan, laganap rin yan sa vlogs, sa blogs. And even, pwede rin natin siyang makita in written letters to friends. Yan. So, I have also here an example of scenario that demonstrates a casual spoken discourse na nagpapakita ng casuality. Okay? So, watch and listen.
Okay, if you need the vacuum, it's in my closet on the left-hand side. The garbage bags are next to the refrigerator.
Okay, but Rachel's gonna be here too. Can't I just ask her this stuff?
Yeah, okay. Give that a try.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, cheerio. London, baby.
Okay, because that's not going to get annoying.
London, baby.
You know what? I was wrong.
Well, we're all here. I guess we should get going. So, we're off.
Have fun.
Thanks.
Oh,
I can't believe you're not gonna be there.
I know.
So, come. Why don't you come?
What?
To London. Come to London, please. It would mean so much to me.
Yeah, but I gotta work. I'm sorry.
Oh, why can't you take a couple of days off?
Because I can't, Ross. I told you. No, I can't.
This is my wedding.
All right, you know what? Now we really are late. Let's go, let's go, let's go!
Fine, you'll watch it on video when we get back.
Let's go. Bye, Phoebe.
Bye, Phoebes.
Bye. Bye.
London, baby!
So what do you want for lunch?
Oh, I don't know. I guess we have to eat.
Yeah, I do. What's the matter?
Just bummed the way I left things with Ross. Wish I didn't lie to him about having to work. He seems so mad at me.
Yeah, don't be so hard on yourself. Someone I was still in love with was getting married.
Still in love with?
Yeah.
I'm not in love with Ross.
Oh. No. Good. Yeah, me neither.
Phoebe, I'm not going to Ross's wedding because he's my ex-boyfriend, and that would be really uncomfortable. Not because I'm still in love with him. I mean, hey, I like Ross as much as the next guy. Clearly I have feelings for him, but feelings don't mean love. I still have loving feelings for Ross, Yeah! But I have continuing feelings of love, but that doesn't mean that I'm still in love with him, I have sexual feelings for him, but I do love him. Oh my God. Why didn't you tell me?
We thought you knew.
We?
Yeah, we all know. We talk about it all the time.
You all know? Does Ross know?
Oh, no. Ross doesn't know anything.
Oh, I cannot believe you didn't tell me.
Because we thought you knew. It's so obvious. God, it would be like, telling Monica, hey, you like things clean. Yeah?
Do you remember where the duck food is?
Yeah, it's in the guy's apartment under the sink. Why?
Because I'm going to London.
What? What do you mean you're going to London?
Yeah, I have to tell Ross that I love him. Now, honey, you take care and you don't have those babies till I get back.
Rachel, you can't go. Ross loves Emily.
Yeah, I know he does. But I have to tell him how I feel. He deserves to have all of the information, and then he can make an informed decision.
That's not why you're going. You're going because you hope he's going to say, yeah, I love you too, Rach. Forget about that British chippy.
Do you think he will?
No, because he's in love with the British chippy. Look, Rachel, if you go, you're just going to mess with his head and ruin his wedding. It's too late. You missed your chance. I'm sorry. I know this must be really hard. It's over.
You know what? No, it's not over until someone says I do.
I do. I do. I do. I do. Oh. Yeah, like I can really chase you. I'm carrying a litter.
And lastly, we have the intimate register. So this is used naman for private communication where the relationship between speakers is very personal, as in conversations between husband and the wife, parents and children. Ayan. So from its term, this is the most intimate form of language. So it is best avoided in public and professional situations. And moreover, this is usually classified as the language used by lovers. So it is reserved for close family members or intimate people. Yan. So kindly watch and listen to the next video clip for an example of intimate register of language discourse.
Hey, son.
Hey.
I was worried about you. We agreed that you'd be home an hour ago since I needed to use the car. When I didn't hear from you, I thought something bad might have happened.
Sorry, I was at Sean's house. We were all hanging out, and I didn't realize that it was so late until I got in the car to come home and saw the time.
Listen, I'm glad you're okay. But why didn't you call when you saw what time it was?
I don't know. I guess that I knew I messed up.
Yeah. It's human to lose track of time, especially when you're having fun. Mistakes happen, but part of growing up is keeping your agreements. I need to know that if we agree on driving privileges and a time that you have to be home, you're going to stick to it. And you get that, right? So, since you were late, your weekday curfew is going to be 6 o'clock for the next month.
Really? A whole month?
If you can show that you can come home on time, we can talk about moving it back to 7 o'clock. Agreed?
Agreed.
Look, it's really important that you don't hide your mistakes from me. And hey, I don't expect you to be perfect, but I can't help you if you don't communicate with me. Owning up to your mistakes shows that you're responsible, but hiding them, trying to avoid the consequences, that shows me you're not being responsible. Make sense?
I get it.
Hey, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Actually, yeah.
The father used I statements to draw his son's attention to the fact that there are consequences for his actions, and this opened the door for his son to share his other concerns.
Everyone else gets to stay out later. How come my curfew is only 7?
Okay, some of your friends may stay out later than you do, and others probably come home earlier. 7 o'clock on a weeknight works well because you usually have homework to do, and you have to get up really early for school. If you get in late, then you're up even later doing homework. It's hard for you to get up in the morning, and then you're all cranky.
Dad, really? You make it sound like I'm a baby. All cranky.
I'm sorry. Cranky was a poor choice of words. I shouldn't have said that. What I'm trying to say is that we all need enough sleep to stay healthy. The curfew's only there to keep you safe and healthy, not to control your personal life. If there's a specific event that you want to stay out later for, we can discuss that on a case-by-case basis. That's why your weekday curfew is 7 o'clock.
The father communicated to his son that rules are in place for safety.
Alright, so upon discussing to you that these 5 registers, I think may nabubuo siguro sa isip ninyo na, ma'am, sa madaling sabi ay 2 registers lang meron. Formal registers at informal registers. Yes po, linguists consider that these 5 registers may be classified into 2 registers according to their formality. Therefore, yung formal registers, it includes the static or frozen, the formal itself, and the consultative registers. While in informal registers naman would be the casual and the intimate, okay? And yeah, so furthermore, while this typology was developed to describe differences in the use of language and tone in various spoken discourse contexts, it may also be used to characterize the language of a written discourse for different purposes and audiences. So, hindi lang siya for spoken discourse. It may be used din sa written discourse. For instance, an email to a friend inviting him or her to a weekend road trip would be worded in a very casual, friendly tone using slang and emoticons. So meanwhile, an email naman to a boss regarding report submitted as an attachment would be formal in tone using grammatically appropriate language. So, ayun, language registers are of importance then to consider in a written discourse. Okay? And so to sum up, the use of the appropriate register for a particular discourse context is necessary to ensure an effective communication. So the choice of words, the choice of tone, and grammar, they will all vary depending on the circumstances in which communication takes place. So the speaker's linguistic choices should therefore meet his or her audience or audience expectations so that there will be an active engagement of participants in any communicative situation. Yan. And finally, as you can read in the slide, an overarching principle that governs all forms of communication is politeness. Okay, so this entails the use of politically correct, inclusive, and discriminatory language, and not words or phrases that suggest bias and negative connotations, as well as lack of sensitivity to the audience. For example, the word policeman. Okay, so this word shows gender bias, policeman, and it is not exactly precise since there are females in the police force, diba? So, kaya the better linguistic choice is police officer because police officer is neutral compare sa policeman na referring to man only. Na? So, police officer is better. And similarly, ano pa ba? Students, isa pa to. Students who do not do well in school should no longer be labeled as underachievers, but sana ay sinasuggest na disadvantaged learners na lang ang i-label sa kanila. Kasi underachiever is being defined as a student who fails to achieve his or her potential or does not do well as expected, wherein students have different levels and kinds of potential, intelligence, and capabilities. Kaya, hindi dapat sila i-label ng ganun because it's obviously an example of discrimination. Kaya, ayan. Again, the all-embracing principle that governs all forms of communication is politeness. Okay? So, if you apply politeness, it gets your message delivered and responded to in the ways you want. So when you communicate with courtesy and with the posture that seeks a positive outcome, that will likely get your message across without pushback or dismissal. So always remember that a polite person will have a stronger, more persuasive brand. Okay, so in this part naman, I will be discussing to you the different varieties of English. So first, let's know its definition. What is variety? According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, variety means the quality or state of having different forms or types. Meanwhile, the Cambridge Dictionary defined it as the characteristic of frequently changing or of including many different types of things. So, the synonymous words here are the quality and characteristics, and the common phrase naman is having different types rather. So, put those in mind, ha? So, for example, in the market, I'll give you a sample sentence. So, the market offers a variety of fresh fruits and vegetables. So, available daw sa palengke ang iba't ibang uri ng fresh fruits and vegetables. So, that that only means na ang Filipino translation sa variety ay iba't ibang uri. Okay? Now balik sa topic, varieties of English. So, do you think that the English language has different types and forms? May iba't ibang uri bang English language? So, consider this in mind. And so, with the globalization and migration that is so prevalent nowadays, the 21st century workplace is oftentimes considered as a microcosm or an epitome of a global community where people of various ethnicities and cultural backgrounds converge. So for example, sa certain place sa NCR, yung natawag natin na BGC or Bonifacio Global City, that place is being known as a world-class business and residential center. Meaning, if you will try to live or work there, you should expect na may makakasama kang iba't ibang lahi na may kanya-kanya ring kulturang nakasanayan that is different from yours. So, from that given case or situation, may makikita tayong problema or challenge, right? Come to think of it, you'll spend your time with people who have different ways sa pagsasalita, sa pagkilos, ganun din sa pag-iisip, and everything na iba sa'yo. So, usually, there will be a tendency na magkakaroon ng misunderstanding, right? Kasi one may misinterpret what the other is saying. For example, in America, di ba they are not used to address elders with titles na panggalang kapag nakatatandang kapatid, ang tawag lang nila ay yung pangalan mismo. Unlike dito sa atin na basta mas matanda sa atin at kahit di natin kaano-ano, ang natawag natin ay ate, kuya, tito, tita. We even call others na nanay, tatay, lolo, lola, 'di ba? Maaaring isipin natin na kawalang galangan yung way nila ng address sa mga nakakatanda, pero it's normal and ethical and katanggap-tanggap sa culture nila. Kaya from that given example situation, a multicultural environment na laganap sa panahon natin ngayon really poses several challenges. Unang-una na dyan yung effective communication. Kaya in order to ensure the maximum productivity in the workplace, there must be a smooth flow of communication between and among its members. Okay? And that is one of the reasons why English is regarded as the global language. Para kahit roughly 6,500 languages are being spoken in the world today, there is one common language that everyone could use in order to convey and understand ideas of one another. At yun nga ang English language. And so this year of 2021, statistics stated that there were around 1.35 billion of people worldwide who speak English either natively or as a second language. When you say natively, ito yung first language or mother tongue ng speaker. Kumbaga ay yun yung nakagisnan nilang language ng environment na or official language ng bansa nila. And on the other hand, second language naman is just like how the English language is treated here in the Philippines. It's our official second language. And so going back to what I've said, in view of the said statistics, many have considered nga that the English language is the world language. So therefore, considering that the English language has become so widespread, it is no surprise that different varieties of English has arisen. So yeah, from those information, yes, English has different types and forms. Kaya there are definitely varieties of English. And now, let's try to get know all of them. First, the oldest variety of English is British English. So it is spoken in the United Kingdom. And approximately 60 million people are native British English speakers. So second, yan. the variety of English with the largest number of native speakers is the American English with 225 million native speakers. And the other major varieties of English naman are as follows. Yan, the Canadian English, Australian English, New Zealand English, South African English, and the Indian English. So, these varieties, even though para-para silang English, mayroon silang differences, kaya they are identified that way. So, anong differences, ma'am? Ano yun? Pagkakaiba? Ano po yun? So, actually, all varieties of English share the same basic rule of the language, but certain words, phrases, and linguistic constructs may differ. So, maaaring doon sila may pagkakaiba-iba. For instance, in British English, so one may say, I'm going to hospital. While in American English, one says, I'm going to the hospital. So there is a difference on how they construct their ideas in a sentence. In the given example, specifically, British English do not usually use the word the as a determiner, unlike in American English na they use the determiner the. Okay? Another, in British English, one may say, he is going to the cinema. In American English, one says, he is going to the movies. And in South African English, one says, he is going to the bioscope. So in these examples, the difference is in the aspect of the terminology's utilization. So they're referring here into one same thing, but every speaker of these varieties have their own used term in certain things or matters. So may pagkakaiba-iba sila sa pangalan o sa tawag sa certain mga bagay. Yan. So, with all these things in mind, it is undoubtedly true that varieties of English really exist, which is also known as world Englishes. So, now, to help us understand more about it, let's go deeper on this topic. Okay? Oh, by the way, this varieties of English, hindi lang ito yun, ano? So, there are only these are only the major varieties. So there's more of it, and let's try to discuss it. Ayan, let's check them out through the notable social linguist Braj Kashru, who introduced the famous, as you can see in this slide, the 3 concentric circles of English. So this is a proposed model by Mr. Kashru to describe the users of the English language as belonging to 3 distinct group. Kaya merong 3 circles dito. So, the inner circle, the outer circle, and the expanding circle. So, So, the first circle is called the inner circle. Yan. So, the speakers in the inner circle come from the United Kingdom, United States of America, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. So, they are considered to be in the inner circle because they use the English language as their native language or mother tongue. Yan. So, those from the outer circle naman, they're speaking communities that have English as their second language. So, these speakers include those coming from the Philippines, Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Bangladesh, Ghana, India, Kenya, Nigeria, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Tanzania, and Zambia. Yan. Lastly, there's what we call as the expanding circle, which listed countries that use English as a foreign language. So these countries are China, Indonesia, Korea, South Africa, Caribbean countries, Israel, Nepal, South America, Egypt, Japan, Saudi Arabia, Zimbabwe, and the other Commonwealth independent states. Yan. So again, these countries could have varieties of English that are somehow only distinct in their countries. What do you mean, ma'am? So, okay, if you have noticed in the outer and expect and in expanding circles, English has become nativized, meaning we have to understand that the type of English that is spoken in each country is influenced by their own local language and culture. That is why you should not be surprised that there are words that we think are English but actually is not internationally accepted English word. There are also words that mean differently in a certain country. That is the reason then why there are Singlish or yung Singapore English, Hong Kong English, Philippine English. Okay, so we should not expect na ang English na sinasalita sa mga countries na ito ay hindi ganun sa English, sa Canadian English, sa British English, sa American English. So, this only means na na-impluwensyahan ng local language ng mga countries na ito yung pagsasalita ng English. Okay? And of course, do not be surprised when the accent is different in a certain country. It is because of the so-called dialectical variations, which bound by geography. So it is marked by differences in pronunciation, vocabulary, and to a certain extent, even sa intonation. No? Yeah. So, however, these differences could be eventually a potential source of communication breakdown if speakers from two different speech communities are unable to negotiate for meaning. Kaya when people from two different cultural groups interact, the intercultural communication takes place. That is in relation to our previous lesson. Ano? Basta we all have to understand is that what we all have to understand is that its purpose is to exchange ideas and cultural norms in the spirit of understanding and mutual respect towards one another. Okay? So, is it clear? I hope yes. And so as closing closing remarks, I have a question. Is there a variety of English that is considered standard or better than all others? Kasi 'di ba? Let's admit na we ought to tingalain yung American English or even the British English. Tapos yung nativized English ay masyado nating kino-correct at kini-criticize, whatsoever. Yan. But from a social linguistic perspective, the answer is not one. Walang English variety that is considered standard or better than all others. However, while there is no standard English, what we should always put in mind is that there will always be formal and informal English. Okay? So that ends our lesson 2, which is about the registers and varieties of the English language, under the second topic entitled Communication in Multicultural Settings. Again, I am Miss Marinette. If you have questions or clarifications, you may raise it in our group chat. Okay, thank you.